Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. All right, you can see I've got Age of Fantasy Skirmish out on the board, so we're going to run through today. Now, I'm going to start a campaign in Age of Fantasy Skirmish. So what that means is I'm going to select two sides, and they each get to start with 150 points worth of units. And then over time, they're going to build up and gain experience and kind of improve a little bit, ideally. There can also be casualties where I lose characters as the game goes on. So anyway, what I've done is picked two sides. I've got my Beastmen, then my Mummified Undead, and I have 150 points in each unit. All right, so let's take a look at what I've picked for the two different units. So the first one, I have to come up with a warband name. So for the Beastmen, I came up with the Crimson Paw. Now, I've picked 3 units for them. I'm going to start off with, first here, we've got our Beast Lord. All right, so you get 1 hero unit to start out in each group. Can potentially make more heroes in there if I get points to buy them later on. But right now I only get 1. So I'm going to go with the Beast Lord for the Crimson Paw. His name's going to be Grimfang. So this is Grimfang the Beast Lord here. And I'm actually going to give him 2 hand weapons. So he's going to start off with, at a cost of 60 points, standard Beast Lord, 2 hand weapons. All right, second thing that I picked was a Brute. So I'm going to bring in a Brute. Here's my Brute. His name's Karn. So Karn there is going to cost me 55 points. I'm not going to give him any bonuses right now. I'm hoping as I earn points later on to improve what it is that he's got. But he's not a hero, but he has Tough. So I'm hoping that Tough gives him some staying power and he attacks pretty good. So if you take a look at him, Brute ends up with quality 3. So he attacks pretty viciously. Going to hit 2/3 of the time. All right, he's also got A3 AP1, which is pretty awesome. All right, so to round out the rest of my points, I'm going to bring a Centaur in there, and we're going to call him Wind. So it's just a plain Centaur. The idea of having the Centaur is the Centaur has fast, so ideally, I don't think he's going to be fighting a whole lot. The goal is going to be to have him on the board so he can run and capture objectives, and hopefully that balances out. He's a bit crunchy, so he may get knocked out pretty quick. We'll see how that goes. All right, and flipping over to the Mummified Undead side, we've got the Pharaoh's Wrath. All right, we're going to do something new that I haven't done in any of my videos yet. I'm going to play with a Mummy Priest. Now, the Mummy Priest has Wizard, so he's going to be able to cast spells. I haven't done any spell casting, so that'll be a new experience this go-around. I'm also going to give him the Wizard upgrade. So this is 55 points for some spell casting. He doesn't attack very well. He's only got a quality of 5, and his defense is pretty low. He's got a defense of 6. He does have Tough, so he's going to stick around a little bit, but I'm going to need to keep him back and throw some spells. What I'm going to augment him with, so that's 55 points. I'm going to augment him with some beef on the backside. So right here is our Guardian statue. So this is blocks, and he's going to take 50 points worth of my cost, but I'm also going to throw Stone Shaper on him. So I'm going to be putting 70 points towards this guy. Now, really, that's going to put him in kind of a big, beefy defensive role. And hopefully he stays out in front of the Mummy Priest and can take the shots and deal out a little bit of damage. All right, last off, I don't have a whole lot of points left after all of that because I've got 55 in my Mummy Priest, and I've got 70 in my Guardian statue. So at that point in time, I end up with a little skeleton crew. So these guys are going to be the Daryls. So we've got Daryl, his brother Daryl, and his other brother Daryl. So there we go. We've got 3 Daryls out there, and they're just going to be a plain set of skeletons. The thought behind that is there's some other things with some abilities I could bring out there, but with the multiple skeletons in the unit, that kind of acts like a Tough. They can absorb a few hits. Plus they get 3 attacks, so it's pretty cheap for a set of units. So, all right. So there we go. There's the Pharaoh's Wrath has a Mummy Priest, the Guardian statue, and my set of skeletons in it. And then on the Beastmen side, we've got the Crimson Paw with my Beast Lord, a Brute, and then a Centaur in it. And then we'll see how things build up as they play out. All right, so let's get the board set up, figure out what mission we're going to do, and then we'll get to some playing. All right, we're ready for round one. So the Mummified Undead are deployed over there. We have the Beastmen deployed over here. That's kind of obvious. I did roll for special objectives. Now, they both ended up with Rage, which means the team that takes out the first one to take out a unit from another group is going to get some additional points to spend at the end of this playthrough. So that's pretty cool. They're both the same. What I'm thinking over there for the Mummified Undead is the Daryls take this point. Probably going to have the priest hang back and take that point, and have the statue run as far out as he can to try to engage things. Probably Beastmen, I think what they're thinking at this point in time is the two bosses back here. Well, there's only one boss. We've got one boss and one brute. So the big guys with tough, how about the two guys with tough, are going to hang back and take these spots. And then I think the centaur is going to try to strategically place himself somewhere where he can get at, maybe loop around and try to capture a couple of those other objectives while everything else is going on. So he's thinking maybe be sneaky and use your maneuverability to grab the objectives. Because what happens at the end, the way this should be played, we're playing the duel right now. And what should happen is, previously when I'd played, I had racked up points at the end of every round for everything that was captured. And actually what I should be looking at is at the end of the game, rather than a victory points each round, at the end of the game, we're just going to look and see who has a majority of spots. Now, one of the things to note is when you do these campaign games, ties don't work. So the game will go to another round if we're currently tied. So if we're at 2-2, until that stalemate is broken, then the game will continue on. So could end up being a fairly deadly game. All right, so the way that it's working out is the Beastmen are moving first. Now we've got our standard move. I think we want to move in the space of this. We're going to start with our brute here. We want him to be able to capture that spot. And 12-inch move is going to move him pretty far out there, so he could get way beyond where these spots are. So we're going to want to stay in range of the spots, so our objectives. So we're going to move him to about right there, I think. And then going to flip over to the Mummified Undead side and move some Mummified Undead. All right, the Daryls have moved up a little bit, they're staying within range of that objective marker. They're within that 3 inches. Then they're moving further forward. Not sure how badly we want to engage with them, because I think that brute might give them the smackdown, but we'll see how that works. So we're coming back over to the Beastmen side of the board. I think on the Beastmen side of the board, we're going to try to hold our centaur back to the end. So we're going to move our Beast Lord here. And he can move 12, and we want to stay within 3. So we've got a whole lot of space that we can move. So moving 12 isn't a problem. Maybe we should charge out there, because he does have his double. That's a thought. Maybe I charge him at the skeletons. He can probably, with his 2 hand weapons and 6 attacks, he can probably take those skeletons out pretty quick. Might have a problem getting past that. I am a little bit scared about getting past the guardian statue and the priest throwing a spell on him. So I think we're going to alter our plan here. We're going to take our Beast Lord at these skeletons. And we're going to go for that, try to get the first kill thing going on. All right, so we're measuring about from the front of where he's at. We'll take him on over to about here. I should put him in range. Yeah, he should be able to get to the skeletons next round, unless the skeletons do something crazy. All right, now it's going to be time to go over and figure out what we do on the other side of the board. All right, so the priest has moved up. I think I'm going to use him to capture that spot there. Now, the thing I have to remember is that the priest is a wizard, and I haven't played with wizard spells. So on my Mummified Undead side, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blade curse here, right? Because we're not really in range of these 12 inches to do damage. And I don't know that I want to do protection. So that was kind of a toss-up there. Do I go after blade curse? It's going to give them +1 to attack. Or do I give them some regeneration next time? Now, what's going to happen is the Beast Lord's going to come at them with some pretty nasty attacks. I could also do a charge. With that 6 inches, I don't think that 6 inches is going to get them close enough to be able to hit anything. No, so 6 inches isn't going to get them into attack. So I think what we're going to do, it's either protection or blade curse. Which one do we go after? I think we'll go after the protection. So if we look at our skeletons, more than 6 inches away from either of these guys. So the charge isn't going to help. But I think if we throw a protection on them, maybe they will make it through that round with that big Beast Lord charging them down. All right, so I'm going to try protection. It needs a 5+. I'm going to grab a die here. And we get a 5. All right, they've got protection, so I need some sort of marker. Oh, I should mark that these guys have already moved. It doesn't really matter a whole lot because they're not engaging yet, but let's find some sort of protection marker. I don't have a good one for that. What do we go with? We'll go with this, just to say that they're protectioned up. There we go. We'll put a little arrow on them. That says that they've got protection. That'll help me remember. All right. So the priest is gone. He's cast his spell. Both of these guys have gone. We just have our statue and our centaur to go. So the centaur, he wants to stay out of range of that priest, but he needs to capture this first before he goes off. Now he's got a huge amount of movement, so we're just going to go ahead and move him up to about there. I want to make sure to stay... Well, see, the priest can come up and cast a spell on him, but that's going to expose the priest at that point in time. So I think we'll hang out there. And then maybe we'll skirt off first the next round. All right, so that ends the Centaur's turn. Everybody in Beast Lord side's gone. We're going to go over to the Mummified Undead and do the last activation over there. All right, so our Guardian statue moved up 12. The thought is maybe if that Centaur doesn't move first, the Guardian statue might get to him and be able to take him out. And I think he's going to be in range for that. Oops, I just pushed him back a little bit. I do think he's going to be in range for that. So really that's going to force the Beastmen to get that Centaur out of there quick. Otherwise he's going to get decimated by that statue. Problem's going to be it's going to leave that spot open. And then the decision is, do we go after that objective or not? Anyway, we're at the end of round 1. We're going to capture 2 for each of them. We did re-roll for, or sorry, I did roll for random things that happened at the beginning of round 1 and nothing happened. So we're going to get ready for round 2. Let me go place capture markers out there, and then we'll get ready for round 2. All right, it's time for round 2. Got our captured objectives out there. Move the marker up to round 2. We need to roll and see if there's a random event. So on a 5 or 6, we get a random event. Where am I going to roll? I'll roll it right here into the camera. 3, no random event. All right. So the skeletons moved last, which means the Beastmen get to move first. What are they going to go after first? So the thought was I could charge in there and take those skeletons out, but I really do not want to get my centaur destroyed this round. So I think the centaur is going to need to run off somewhere. He's got a movement. He's got fast, so he gets to move even further than normal. So double check. Fast says I think I get to go another 6 inches. So fast I get to go 18 when I'm charging. So I can move really far. I can get way over there. That's probably where I'm going to go. So we've captured this one. The goal is to stay alive so that later rounds we can sneak out and get stuff. So I think we can get to about here. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to run over to here. Get out of the way. Does that still keep me 12 inches away from the skeletons? Ooh, not quite. I think instead we'll move back here. We'll retreat a little bit. Kind of hide back behind that house there. All right, I'm going to use activation stuff now because you have to keep track of this. All right. The Centaur's gone. All right, so now we're going to go back over to the Mummified Undead. Now, the Mummified Undead, we could move the priest up. The problem is if he moves up to cast spells, he potentially gets into attack range. So I think what he's going to want to do is stay at least 12 inches away from the Beast Lord. So I think I move him over here into this area. I could move him up and then cast a spell to help our statue attack. I think that's what we're going to do there. So we're going to move up a little bit, and then we'll cast a... Well, actually, we can do that right now. Why don't we do that first? We'll go for our... let's throw a Blade Curse on our statue friend there. So in order to get that, we need a 4+, and we are Wizard 2. So we get to add 2 to whatever we roll. 3, 5. There we go. We have a Blade Curse on our statue. So I'm going to go move my priest, and then I'll get a marker to put on the statue to say that he's got Blade Curse, and we should be good to go. All right, so we've moved our Pharaoh up. He's cast his spell. We're back over to our Beastmen side of the board. So that statue looks like he's going to do some tough damage. So the question is going to be, do I want to move my brute up and try to hit those skeletons, which are going to regenerate? He probably will be able to hurt them, but not decimate them. Or do I move the Beast Lord up there and have him do the attack? So we've got a 12-inch move, so we should be able to get one of them in there to do that. I think we're going to go with the Beast Lord, and then maybe bring in our brute to do some mop-up attacks. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move our Beast Lord in there. So he's going to move up. Remember, they got their spell on them. So when we do that, they come around because we're engaged. All right. And now we've got some attacking to do. So let's see how this works out. So our Beast Lord, he's got Furious, which means he's going to get an extra die. He's got 2x hand weapons, so that means he's going to throw 7 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Furious on a charge, I get an extra attack. And let's see here, he's got a quality of 3 is what it says here, so I'm hitting on 3s. Oh, that is a horrible roll. So I should have 2/3, but I hit with less than half, so only 3 hits. All right, so the skeletons have a defense of 5, so we're going to roll 3 dice and see if they get 5s or better. Oh, all right, so they're going to take 2 hits, but regeneration is going to kick in. And regeneration should be, I'm double checking, on a 5+, the hits are ignored. So I get to roll again and see if they get more 5+. Oh, they only take 1 hit out of all of that. All right, so 1 skeleton goes away. Oh, I've got First Blood. Beastmen have First Blood. All right, and the protection spell goes away because I believe it's a one-shotter. Yes, the next time it's wounded. So they were wounded, they got their regeneration. All right, at that point, the skeletons get to retaliate. So the skeletons, do they use their attack to retaliate? I believe so. So they hit on 5s. So there's 1 hit. Now, the Beast Lord has a defense of 3, so 3 or better, and he defends against it. And he defended against it. No damage. All right, so then I need to back off 1 inch. That's about an inch right there. I think my little thing there is an inch. Does that fit in there? A little bit more. All right. And the Beast Lord is done. Okay, so what do we do next? Now, skeletons. Wow, do the skeletons charge in? Because they're going to get pretty much destroyed wherever they go. Or do they run away? Or make a tactical retreat, I think. I'm not sure which one they do at this point in time. So I do think our skeletons are going to make a tactical retreat at this point in time. And the reason for that is they can get out of range of the Beast Lord and the Brute. That is going to kind of make the Brute's turn ineffective, really. And they can save themselves for later, because if the Brute gets in there, I think the Brute's going to tear them apart at this point, and they don't want that. So I think they're going to back off that direction, and then maybe they can help swing around and either protect or clean up some of these pieces over here. So I'm going to move them 12 that way and get out of range of all this nastiness that's over here. All right, so the Daryls have made a tactical retreat over to here. They're hanging out with our statue over here, and that's kind of leaving our Brute without much to go after at this point. So I think what he needs to do, we need to like hem these guys in. So our Brute's going to take a move. I'm going to go 12 inches in this direction. Problem with doing that is that's going to put me, I'm going to have to live through potentially a wizard hit next round. Or that big statue's probably going to come over and hit me this round if I do that. We got to engage somewhere, and hopefully we live through that attack. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to move over. We're going to move 12 inches and try to tempt some fate here. Let's see how that works out. So we'll go to about there. That's our 12 inches. Our Brute's done moving. Now he hasn't done his attack, so he still gets to, if that statue comes over, he can throw an attack at the statue. All right, so he's done. The last to go is going to be our statue. So the statue, the guardian statue, which one does he go after? Does he go after the Lord, who has used his attack already this round, and he could get there, or go after the Brute, which he's going to take less damage next round if he engages with the Brute. It might be good to kind of hem up that Brute, and then he can get some of the Mummy Priest's backup as part of that. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to move the statue over here to take on this Brute. Should be easily within range. Oh yeah, easily within range. So we're going to move him on over. And we're going to trade some blows between some big guys there. So our statue does have that blade curse on him, so he's going to get +1 to melee rolls the next time he fights. So our statue is throwing 3 dice. He's got a quality of 3, so that means he's going to hit on, oh, and he's got Furious. So he's charging in, he gets an extra die. All right, so he gets +1. Normally you would hit on 3s. Now he's going to hit on 2s. All right, so we got 3 hits. Oop. Now our Brute has a defense of 4. So let's see what how many he wards off there. Oh, he wards off 2 of them, so he takes 1 damage. All right, his tough is going to make it so he just kind of shrugs that off for right now. It's but a flesh wound. But that means he gets to return fire at the statue. All right, so the Brute has quality of 3. He has attack 3, armor piercing 1. So we're going to roll 3 dice. He does not get his Furious because he's not the aggressor in this situation, but he still does get his AP 1. So I'm going to roll. He hits on 3s or better. He gets 1 hit. All right. Oh, yeah. He gets 1 hit. Now he's got armor piercing 1. So that means that the guardian statue is going to defend on needs a 5 or better on defense. And he gets it. So don't even have to worry about the regeneration. The statue's okay. All right, statue's gone. The Brute's done his retaliatory strike. Statue needs to back off an inch. Is that about an inch? Yeah, it's about an inch right there. All right, so we end up round 2. Nothing is getting captured this round. It's all staying the same. And we're going to get ready for round 3. All right, getting ready for round 3. Picked up all of the markers, moved our die up to round 3 here, and we need to roll for our random event. So let's see if something happens on a 5 or 6. 5. Oh, there's a random event. All right, I have to get my chart out now. Let's see here, random events. All right, so we're going to roll. Orange is going to be the first one, and then purple will be our second one. So we get, is that a 53? All right, so orange, we get a 53, which is, 53 says the oldest trick. Sorry, trick. It says, in the heat of combat, warriors kick sand into their enemies' faces to blind them. All is fair in love and war. Select one random warband. Enemy units get -1 in melee when attacking units from the selected warband until the end of the round. All right, so we've got 2 warbands out there. We're going to select one randomly, and enemies get -1 when attacking them. All right, so we're going to roll a die, and that's going to be the selected one. So odds are going to be the Mummified Undead. Evens are going to be our Beastmen. So odd. Mummified Undead is selected. So we're going to get -1 when attacking the Mummified Undead this round. Ooh, okay. All right, so we're back. Mummified Undead went last, so Beastmen get to go first. Even with that minus, so here's what I'm thinking at this point in time. I think our Beast Lord is going to go to try to take those skeletons out. That's going to put me in range of their Mummy Priest. So he's going to have to start casting spells and figuring out what he wants to do. He doesn't attack very well, so it's probably throw spells and back off. But they'll have to make some hard decisions at that point in time. So he's within 12 inches. So our Beast Lord there, yeah, he's got 12 inches to get to those barrels, the 2 barrels that are left, and he's going to go after them. All right, Beast Lord is charged in there. We're going to go at it now. Beast Lord, as he charges, he gets furious, so he's going to get 7 dice. Now, the downside is going to be we get that -1. So instead of hitting on 3s, we're going to hit on 4s or better. All right, let's see what we come up with. Oh, that's a good roll. All right, only 1 goes out. All right, now the skeletons, they have a defense of 5. That's a much better roll. Even at a disadvantage, you rolled better that round. All right, so skeletons defend on a 5. Ooh, wow, they rolled really well. So, boop. 3 hits for the skeleton. So, 1 skeleton goes out. And the remaining one takes 2 wounds, and we have to figure out whether he goes out or not. All right, so we're going to roll a die. Figure out if he's stunned or if he's actually out. 5 + 2 is 7. He is knocked out. So we've got our first blood of the game right there. All right, so our rage is going to end up going to the Beastmen. They're going to get some extra points, and he gets to move an extra 3 inches at the end of that. So I think we're going to close on our priest over there, get a little bit closer to the priest and try to scare him, because that was a pretty scary attack. All right, so our Beast Lord is done at that point in time. Now we got to decide what the Mummified Undead are going to do. That didn't go as planned. All right, so do we go with our priest and have him throw a spell? So let's take a look at, let's look at what our options are here. So we've got a smiting. We've got a desiccation. 1 hit, AP4, deadly 3. It's only 1 hit though. What we need is a lot of hit. Target enemy with 12 inches must make a morale test. If failed, Takes one out. So Vengeance isn't going to do me a whole lot. So maybe the Storm of Skulls, if we throw it on, if we do the Storm of Skulls and we throw it on the Brute there, the Brute's taking a point of damage. So we could get him possibly close to getting knocked out. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to throw a Storm of Skulls at the Brute. So we need to roll a 4+ and we're Wizard 2. All right, so and I'm pretty sure, let's double check, I'm pretty sure we're within 12 inches. Oh yeah, we're within 12 inches. Oh, I'm moving houses around. All right, we're within 12 inches. All right, so Storm of Skulls takes a 4+, we're at Wizard 2. So 2 plus 3 is 5. We do the Storm of Skulls. So it says target enemy unit within 12 inches takes 2 automatic hits with armor piercing 2. All right, so the Brute has got a defense of 4. With an armor piercing 2, that's going to crank it up to a 6. So he needs to roll 6s to ward off either of those attacks. And he does not. All right. So we're going to go up to 3 hits on the Brute. That's his toughness value. So we're going to roll to see whether he gets stunned or knocked out. Oh, a 6 plus 3 is 9. He actually does get knocked out right there. So that takes out the Brute. Ouch. All right. Good play, Wizard. Or Priest, I guess. All right, so that was pretty amazing, actually. So what's he going to do now? Does he run away from the Lord? I think so. So that was his spell. He's going to do his move now. Let's see here. We want to get the hell out of there. So 12 inches. We can move him to about here. Ooh, wait a minute. He can move in. Yes, he can. He can move in capturing range of this right here. So let's move him to about here. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. I capture that spot. All right, and he'll be done at that point. All right, we're over to the Beastmen turn. I think we're going to have our Centaur run over there and try to capture that. And he's got his 18-inch movement. He can definitely do that. So, yep. I'm going to run him over there. All right, so we moved the Centaur. I think the next thing to do is we've got to figure out what to do with our statue at this point. So the statue, does he try to take off and capture this, or does he go to engage the Beast Lord? Now, the Beast Lord's already done his attack, so his good hits are gone at this point in time. You'd have to roll 6s. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to go after the Beast Lord, who's easily within 12. I'm going to run up here and give him a nice tap. All right, so our Guardian Statue attacks with 3 dice. He hits on 3 or better. So 2 hits. All right, our Beast Lord, he defends. Oh, I have a 4th dice because I have Furious. Okay, still 2 hits. All right, so our Beast Lord defends on 3s or better. And he defends both of them. All right, the Beast Lord gets to do a retaliatory attack, and he gets to throw 6 dice. So this is a lot of dice, but he only hits on 6s. So we're going to roll. And I see 1 hit there. All right, 1 hit. Guardian Statue defends on 4s. And he defends against it. Don't even have to go to the regeneration. All right, Guardian Statue is done. All right, so we're going to swap around some ownership because it looks like we're going to swap there, and then we're going to head into round 4. Okay, so heading into round 4, we need to see if there's any random events that happen. And we've got 2 and 2, so we're split evenly. So let's see if we get a random event. 5 or 6, we get a random event. And we got a 2. So no random event there. We just have the 4th round. So just to remember, if it's still even at the end of this round, we go on to the 5th round until we get an actual victor. All right, so the last person to go that round was our Mummified Undead. So now, okay, so here's the thing that I need to figure out is, do I, as the Beastmen, so this guy can probably get over there and take that one. What I need to check here is, oh, I don't think he can get there. I don't think our priest, he's not going to be able to get within 3. He's just outside of 3 inches of that. So he's not going to be able to run over fast enough to capture that one. So the Beastmen know we can keep these, we can keep this one. We will probably keep that one also. So then the question is, do we run over and capture that one? Do we, because the Mummified Undead is going to need to do something. Now, let's see, what else can they do? They've got, he does have this, where's it at? Right there. Target friendly unit with 12 inches may immediately charge up to 6 inches and gets +1 hit for that melee. And actually, we don't have to worry about morale at this point in time because we're still above half. Let's see. How do we want to play this? All right, Beastmen are going first. The thought is, if I move my Centaur over there, then that statue is going to charge in and hit him. And that's going to be problematic. Can the Beast Lord, so the Beast Lord could potentially, oh, he can run over here and hit the skeleton. So he could charge in and come after the Mummy King. I think that's what he's going to do. So the 12-inch move, he can end up about right here. Well, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to drop right here next to the Mummy King and give him a swat. Mummy Priest, sorry. We're going to attack him. All right, so in that case, we're throwing 7 dice. 4, 5, 6, 7. And we hit on, what's the Beast Lord hits on 3s? Oh, so that comes out and that comes out. And we have 5 hits. All right, so the priest defends on 6s. Not good. All right, so our priest is defending on 6s. We had 5 hits. Oh, he defends 1 of them. That means he's going to take 4 hits. All right, he's got a tough of 3. So we're going to roll and see if we get 5 plus our tough. So that's a 8 or better. He's out. So 3 plus 4 is 7. I'm going to double check my tough rules here just to make sure. So it's only knocked out on rolls of 5 plus X or more. So he is stunned. All right. So he's not down, but he's stunned. All right. So it doesn't get a retaliatory strike. Our Beast Lord is done. All right, next up is going to be the mummy side of the field. So what do the mummies do at this point? I think he needs to activate his priest and get him up and going. Otherwise, it's likely that that centaur with his speed can run in there and take him out. So I think we activate the Mummy Priest next. So Mummy Priest activates. The other thing we could do is we could run our statue over there to try to take that spot, or run in and try to take our Beast Lord out, but I don't think that's going to help. We're kind of in a pickle at this point in time, because if the centaur goes and takes that spot, then they have 3. If this doesn't stay contested, then he'll capture 1 over here. Oof. All right, so we're going to activate the Mummy Priest. We're going to clear... we're going to clear our stunned. And the Mummy Priest is done. All right, Centaur's turn. Now, Centaur can go over and... oh, he's got 18 movement. So we could go capture that one, but then that statue is probably going to take him out. Statue can't get to either of these, so I think what we do is we run over... oop, I need to back off an inch. I think we run over and hit the Mummy Priest. And we should be within 18. And with Furious, we're going to get some extra attacks, so that will help. Oh, we're not within 18. You can't get to the Mummy Priest. It's not going to happen. So I think at that point in time, we stay out of range of the Guardian statue. The Guardian statue can totally get to that one. Let me do some measuring. All right, so here's what I had to do. So there are some problems here, and the problems are that, number one, you've got our centaur over there. This statue is within 12 inches of that, so he could come over, and even if I stayed in this range, I could move the centaur out of range of where the statue can get to, but the statue can contest that. All right, so what I can do... ooh, this one's going to become contested. So here's the choice at this point. This one's going to become contested on this side of the... so this will drop back to neutral, right? So that's going to give me 2 red and 1 blue. So what the Mummified Undead needs to figure out is if they can get back to 2 blue. They can't do that if the Beastman runs over there. The best that the Mummified Undead could do is they could run over there and attack that one, and they could keep that one captured. He could run over here and keep that one captured. He could run over here and attack the Beast Lord, but that's not going to get them the win. So I think what's going to happen is no matter what, the Beastmen are going to end up winning this round. What he can do is that statue can run over and try to take out the centaur and possibly hurt him for the next round of the campaign. So I think that's what's going to happen there is our statue is going to run over and try to put the smackdown on the centaur. All right, statue's looking to give the centaur a smackdown. He's attacking with 3 dice. He's got Furious, so he gets 4 dice. He's hitting on 3s. I'm gonna roll here. Oh, he only gets 2 hits. All right, 2 hits on the centaur. The centaur defends on 4s. No defenses, so the centaur is going to take 2 hits. I don't think I can shove that all the way over there. Let's see. Wow. Somewhat close. All right, centaur takes 2 hits. We're going to roll to see whether he gets knocked out or not. 4, 5, 6. Yes, the centaur is knocked out. All right, so let's assume the centaur is knocked out. What's going to happen at the end of the round is this is going to become neutral. Well, that's going to become a blue, or it's going to stay a blue, I guess. And the Beastmen are going to end up winning at the end of round 4. So Beastmen are going to get the victory points. We're going to have to see what happens to our casualties, because we've got a knocked out Centaur, we've got a knocked out Brute, and the Daryl's got knocked out over here. So let's see how all of this plays out. All right, so now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the game, record keeping. All right, so let's see what happens with our people that were knocked out. So there's a check for casualties piece at the end. So first off, for our mission goals and things. All right, so because Rage was on the Beastman side, and they were the first player to knock out an enemy unit, they're going to get 10 bonus points for that. I'm going to mark that down on my chart here. Plus 10 points for the Beastmen. All right. The next thing we've got is we're going to check for casualties. So it's if a majority of models were knocked out or stunned, we're going to roll on, there's a little table right here. Oop, there's our table. So you got 1 is a dead, 2 to 5 is recovered, 6 is natural talent and gets an experience point. All right, so this could be kind of rough. We'll see how this plays out. All right, we're going to roll for the Brute first. So the Brute gets 6. Oh, natural talent. He gets +1 XP. Good win for the Brute. All right, so I'm going to mark 1 XP off on his chart here. All right, then we're going to roll for our Centaur. Centaur gets a 4, which is a recovered, no effect. All right, then we're going to roll for the Daryls. See what happened to the Daryls. Daryl's got a 2, no effect. All right. Okay, so after check for casualties, we move on to earning experience points. So surviving a mission. Let's see here. We have +1 for surviving a mission, +1 for knocking out a unit, +2 for knocking out a hero. All right, so we didn't knock out any heroes. Surviving the mission. So do the people, so who survived would be our statue survived. And the Pharaoh survived, our mummy priest. And then our Beast Lord survived. All right, and there's another bonus for knocking out a unit. So the Beast Lord knocked out a unit. The Mummy Priest knocked out a unit with his spell there. And because he knocked out the Brute, and then our statue knocked out our Centaur. All right, +2 for knocking out a hero. No heroes were knocked out. All right. Don't have to worry about the 5 XP there. Nobody got to that. For the win, we get, let's see here. I'm going to double check. All the rest of this on here is bonuses. All right. So winning warband gets 2 VPs and 10 points. So the Crimson Paw is going to be up to 2 VPs. And they're going to have 20 points because they got 10 for the objective. Whereas the Pharaoh's Wrath, they're going to have 30 points to spend. All right. So what I think I will do is, as part of this flow before the end, you're supposed to recruit units and upgrade warbands, but I'm going to save that to the beginning of the next episode because I'm going to need some time to figure that one out. So I'll let you know what we upgraded with at the beginning of the next episode. And maybe we'll end up with a different mission that time around. We'll see if we can get something into the mix. I'm making cards so I can kind of shuffle them up, and then we'll figure out which mission it ends up coming out on top. All right, that's really cool. I'm liking this. I like the thought of the warbands upgrading. I do kind of like starting at that 150 point value is a pretty tight value on stuff. With 4 markers out there, there's a lot to go after with only having 3 units on the board. So that makes that fairly tough. It's much different than your 250 point type game. So having a lot of fun with this. We'll see what happens in round 2. Make sure to subscribe so you get a notification when round 2 comes out. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.